it's Grace, and today I'm doing my top however many books of 2014. I couldn't narrow it down to 10 or 14, so I don't know, it's like 16 or something, I don't know. Before I get started, I just want to point out that not all of these books were published in 2014, it just happened to be the time that I read them. And these books are in no particular order because I couldn't narrow it down. Let's get started. First book I'm going to show you is Grave Mercy by Robin LaFevers. This is a historical fiction fantasy book about a girl who gets sent to a convent to be trained as an assassin. I'm not going to get too into what these books are about just because I have so many books to show you, but yeah, one of my favorites of 2014. This book is Ignite Me by Tahereh Mafi. This book is so good. It is the conclusion in the Shatter Me series. I love it with all my heart. Thank you, Tahereh Mafi, for creating Warner, because let's just thank her. So, thank you. I really want an epilogue for this book. Like, we need more. We need more. Next book is Days of Blood and Starlight by Laini Taylor. This is the second book in the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy. I have not yet read the last book in the series, but I've read the first two, and I feel like this book totally blew the first one out of the water. The world is so unique, it's so hard to describe, but this series is definitely the most unique thing I've read. I love when a book makes you hate the villain, and this book made me despise the villain, so if you like that kind of stuff, get it. Next book is City of Heavenly Fire by Cassandra Clare. This is a chunker of a book, but it's amazing, and it's just such a good conclusion to such an amazing series. This series is what rekindled my love for reading, so I owe so much to it. Cannot wait for the new Shadowhunter series that's called The Dark Artifices. It comes out next fall, I believe, and I just want to get it so bad. The next book I know a lot of people didn't like, but I just couldn't help but love so freaking much, and that is The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. I know it may not be for everyone, like the writing style and everything, but dude, I don't know what it was about this book. It was my favorite. I just remember like ending this book and just being like, that was the best book ever. I love this book, and I will praise it till the day that I'm not here anymore. I'll keep praising it. The next book I'm going to show you is The Diviners by Luva Bray. This is, again, a historical fiction book. It's set in the 1920s, and it's paranormal. Totally got to get a feel of what it was like to live in the 1920s. It was so vividly written and just an amazing book, and I cannot wait for the second book to come out sometime. Oh yeah, it's 2015, so yep, sometime this year. Next book is just Words Aren't Able, and that is Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas. This book was so good. So good. I read Throne of Glass and I liked it. I gave it like 4 stars, I think. But then I read this book, and this again totally blew the first book out of the water for me. It was like a hair in my eye. This book was so good. And the writing, I can't even describe to you how good the writing is. It's just so good, and it's going to be a 6-book series, and I have yet to read The Assassin's Blade and Heir of Fire, but I will get to it soon. The next book is Gathering Darkness by Morgan Rhodes. Basically this whole series, but especially this book, which is the 3rd book. So good, and the characters' development, like, you just never know what's going to happen in this series because it's just nothing safe, nobody's safe, just it's so good. This whole video is just going to be repetitive saying how good these books are, but they are. The next book is The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. This book is really, really good, and I also think it's thought-provoking, and I also think anyone could read this. No matter your age, I feel like anyone could get something out of this book. Great book, great writing, great characters, nobody Owens. Love him. Next book I'm going to show you is Stolen by Lucy Christopher. This is a beautiful book. It follows a girl named Gemma who gets kidnapped, and this story is written as a letter to her captor, so it's really, really amazing, and the imagery in this book totally makes you feel like you're there and like you're her, and I just felt like, what would I do in that situation? And it's just so thought-provoking. It's an amazing book. Next book, again, is a contemporary, and that is Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. I have such a hard time saying her name. But this book is definitely a unique contemporary for me because the main characters are misfits. They don't fit in anywhere, and they're really, really just amazing, and their backstories and just everything about these characters is just so real, and this book is just so real, and it just makes you feel like throughout this whole book I was crying. I don't know if it was just me who cried through the whole book. It was just those one-liners that just hit home for me, and it was so good. Do you hear my cat meowing? Ignore it. Next book is Lola and the Boy Next Door by Stephanie Perkins. This I've only read Anna and the French Kiss and Lola and the Boy Next Door, and I did like Lola and the Boy Next Door a little bit better. It was so good. It's one of my favorites. The book I'm going to show you is The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. This follows a princess who flees on her wedding day because it's an arranged marriage and she just doesn't want that for herself. So she flees to another town, and little does she know she's being tracked by an assassin and the prince who was going to marry her. And it's really good. There's a plot twist. I got the plot twist. I mean, I'm not bragging or anything, but I figured that out. But it was really good, and I think that a lot of people would be surprised with the plot twist that goes on in this book. The next book I recently read, and I was just so surprised with it, and that's Snow Like Ashes by Sarah Rosh. I can't stress enough that this is her debut novel, and it was just so perfect, I think. It's so good. I'll give you a brief little thing on this. Every kingdom has its own season, and the main character in this, she's a Winterian, and there is no Winter Kingdom anymore because it's been taken over, or not taken over, it's just been destroyed by spring. And so basically what happens is they're just trying to get the kingdom back. Great book. Next book I also read super recently, and that is The Winter's Curse by Marie Rutowski. I feel like I say her last name wrong every time, but whatever. This book was just so good. Like, a lot of people said it was boring, so while I was reading it, I was waiting for it to get boring, and it never got boring to me. It was so good, and the main character was just freaking, I love her. She's one of my favorites now. If you're skeptical about getting this, don't be skeptical, pick it up. Next book I'm going to show you is The Girl of Fire and Thorns by Rae Carson. This is such a unique fantasy, and especially in the YA genre. The main character, Lisa, she's one of my all-time favorite characters that I've ever read about. She's just awesome, and her character development is spot on. Such a good book. Next book I'm going to show you is The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. I don't know if you'd call this series a YA high fantasy or an adult high fantasy, because in my Barnes & Noble it's both in the YA section and in the adult section, so maybe it's just both. Maybe it just can fit in anywhere. And I think it does. It's definitely, you know, for everyone. If you're intimidated by the size or anything like that, don't worry, because when you read it you don't even think about the size of these books. They're just so good. The next book I'm going to talk about, I don't have it with me because I'm lending it out to my sister, but that is Hopeless by Colleen Hoover. Any Colleen Hoover book really is just really, really great, but especially Hopeless for me because it dealt with such heavy emotional topics. Loved that book. It really, really surprised me because I did not expect to like it as much as I did. And there's so much more to its title, Hopeless, than you think there is. That's definitely my favorite contemporary I read this year. Those are my favorite books of 2014. What are some of your favorite books of 2014? Comment down below because I definitely want to know. I'm pretty sure 2015 is going to bring so many great books and just going to be an amazing reading year. And I'm very excited to get on to it. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!